In this lesson, we're going to add additional validation to our form. We're going to make it so that users must fill in their name and website in order to submit the form. If they leave the fields empty, an error message will be displayed. To do this, we'll be using the empty function. So let's get started. Our error messages will be displayed in red. So first, we need to create a style sheet with a class that will change the font color to red. So just create this block of code in your head tag, basically a style sheet with the error class, which will change the font color to red. Now we can create our validation. We need the validation statements to execute as soon as the form is submitted. We also want the data outputted only if the required fields are completed. So remember, this is our output section, and we only want the values outputted if the fields name and website are not empty. So that's the objective here. So first, begin by inserting the following block of code inside your first if statement. So we're nesting one if statement into another. And I'll explain what this means in just a second. So I'm just going to format it so it looks a bit cleaner. Okay, so we've inserted an if statement. And before I explain what each statement does, I'm just going to make sure I close this if statement, otherwise the script won't work. So always remember to close all your open if statements. Okay, so we've created our first line here, states that if the first name field is left empty, to echo an error message stating that the first name is required. There's a second condition. If the website field is left empty, then echo another error message stating that the website is required. If both the name and the website field have been filled in by the user, then the code inside the else statement will be executed. And that basically means that the data that the user inputted will be outputted in our web page. Okay, and so that's it. We've added two additional validation components to this script. Now let's go ahead and test the file. So I'm purposely going to leave everything empty and press the submit button. So you can see that now none of the information has been outputted because validation has failed and an error has been outputted. The error is that the first name is required. So if we enter our first name, let's see what happens if we press submit. Okay, now it's stating that the website is required. And I'll just change the formatting of this error so it matches the first one. Okay, so now it passed the first test. The first name was inputted, but it failed the second test. The website is required. So if we enter the first name and the website, and then press submit, then validation checks out and all the data is outputted. Okay, and you'll notice that the comments field was left empty, and that's fine because we didn't add any validation onto the comments field. Only the name and website had additional validation.